It always lock it. It keeps muting me out. What's up, everybody? I'm Ivan Vargas. We're gonna finally get that right one day around here. But I'm Ivan Vargas. Welcome back to another Bears show. Make sure let's get this out the way. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I got a great show for you tonight. Although it's been another Bears loss, we're gonna talk about a lot of things. And I got something right hot off the presses. 30 minutes ago, there's been some smack talk from a former Bears player that is it's pretty damning. It's pretty damning, even though he is 100% correct. All right, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to The Tape Never Lies. Make sure you go to www.thetapeneverlies.com. Become a patron. The benefits of becoming a patron, you get bonus pop-up shows. You get nonstop updates, all Chicago Bears. You get DDP breakdowns. You get top tier draft analysis. It's the best you could ask for. All the best things you could ask for about the Chicago Bears content that you could wish for. So only $7. Go over there, become a patron today. Let's get started. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start off with this big. I guess it's like I said, it's one of the more damning things I've heard a former Bears player say about the Chicago Bears. So about 30 minutes ago, from NBC Sports Chicago, Ryan Taylor published an article quoting Roquan Smith, quote, "My career isn't going down the drain," speaking about how he feels post-Bears trade. So what I'm going to do here, I know it's a little different. I'm going to go ahead and read the article, and we're going to go ahead and break it down right away because honestly, I just got an update on my phone, and it was brand new. It was brand spanking new to me. So let's go ahead and get into this. Here's the article from Ryan Taylor, NBC Sports Chicago. After Sunday's 37-3 blowout over the Seattle Seahawks for the Baltimore Ravens, Roquan Smith looked back with Sports Illustrated's Albert Breer at this trade from Chicago. Just over a year after the fact, how does Smith feel about it? To quote Smith, "Man, it's pretty crazy thinking back to when I was initially traded," Smith told Breer. "It was bittersweet for me just knowing Chicago, and rightfully so. But if I would have stayed there, honestly, I wouldn't have been able to compete for a title anytime soon. And then when I came over here, it took me a while, like a couple of weeks, to really realize how stacked this team it was, as well as how many good people there are on this team and how they just bring in truly good people. And when I just think about it from the perspective of having the opportunity to compete for 1 year in 1 year and a year out, for 1 year in and year out with talent we have, man, it makes me so happy. Just knowing my career is not going down the drain in the sense of playing somewhere where I'm truly competing for a title." Ouch. Smith didn't hold back on that one. Smith and the Bears had a major falling out back in the summer of 2022. Smith then and then he goes on and on and on. Again, this was a article published by Ryan Taylor, NBC Sports Chicago. Yeah, I mean, is he wrong? No, he's not wrong, but it's very damning. It's very damning. For a player to describe being in your organization as his career going down to the drain, I understand it was a rebuild and everything like that, but those are still words that we all reside with us because of how the Bears have been, the past decade plus. They've been a mess. They've been it's been wandering in the dark with this front office, no matter who it is in the front office. I know we're only year one with Kevin Warren, and I hope that he's not just here for aesthetics and just to build the stadium. I really, truly hope that we're headed in the right direction. But, to hear this, and I get Roquan is disgruntled. He's going to just disgruntled players talk that shit, especially when they're upset with how they were treated. It's still the truth. Like, he did not lie. Right? He did not lie. Right now, the Bears are, I know Eberflus likes that adversity role or a word, but this is more than just adversity. This is like losing control or never really gaining control of your football team, like of the identity of your football team, how you're going to operate in and out, and losing two coaches off your coaching staff. One that's your guy in Alan Williams for mysterious reasons that it had to involve HR, and it's none of it looks good. None of it looks good. He even spoke about bringing in good people at the Baltimore Ravens. That again, it speaks to Alan Williams, and I'm not saying that those are like, they had a personal beef, Alan Williams and Roquan Smith, but it does not look good for Matt Eberflus and Ryan Poles that you brought in guys that were not of the moral standards that you preach so much, right? Like that was the main thing about them is preaching moral standards, and we're going to hold people accountable, shit like that. It seems to rarely be put into to motion, just holding people accountable, right? It's like you're almost tippy-toeing around accountability. Why is Cody Whitehair still out there? Why do we release Doug Kramer and continue to live with Lucas Patrick? To me, that's politics. To me, that speaks to Whitehair being a long tenured Bear and Lucas Patrick being a Getsy guy. So that, like, the accountability, like we talk about accountability and we talk about, just the overall culture of the Bears, and it just doesn't, this just continues to pour fuel on the flames of not only this regime, but telling us something that we've all, as Bears fans, already known, and as this front office and how they operate as an organization just isn't it. It's just not how you do it. And I understand, you're coming in fresh, a brand new GM, a brand new coach. Now you got a brand new president. You kind of have to see how it goes. I think how I feel. I think the coaches are gone. But you got a guy in Ryan Poles that seems to believe in his guy. So we'll see how it plays out in the end. Nonetheless, Roquan Smith is better off. The Bears, I guess you could say the Bears were better off, but no, it all sucked because then you lost, or you gained Chase Claypool. You got rid of Chase Claypool, thank God. But it just never panned out for you. None of it worked out in your favor. So it's a big L for Ryan Poles. It's a big L for the Chicago Bears. And, you can do nothing but tip your cap. I guess you could just tip your cap to Roquan and just be like, hey, man, good luck with your career. You got what you wanted. The Bears it wouldn't have been good for you or the Chicago Bears, you hanging around and being disgruntled and just, playing out a contract or whatever you have to. It just makes me all the more upset at where we're going as an organization, where we're headed. Because like I said, right now, I don't know what identity the Bears have as far as their offense, as far as their defense. They don't generate a bunch of turnovers, although they've, had a few here and there. They don't generate pressure. What do we do great on both sides of the football? Or we could go to the third phase too. What do we do great on special teams? I mean, Cairo Santos, and that's it. Kicking field goals, that's what we're good at. That's not what I want to hear when my football team is talked about. So, Roquan, good luck to you. It is what it is, man. I can't call you any names or say you're bullshitting when you're telling the truth about yourself, about your career, and about your experience with the Chicago Bears. Like, he didn't condemn the city. He talked straight up about the organization and where they're heading, and it was the truth. All right, enough of Roquan. I'm going to go ahead and jump the gun and give an announcement before we get into this past loss against the New Orleans Saints. So, real quick announcement: we're going to be dropping a show from the lineup. Keeping it fantasy will be no more. We're going to just extend another Bear show for a little bit. So I've added some more. I've added some more clips. We've got some more things coming up. We're gonna add some segments here. Me and Jack are gonna put some work into this thing and really get it going for you guys, because we want you guys to have, and I love doing the interviews, breaking down the interviews, keeping you up to date with what's said, from the coaches to the players. But I want to add some more fun into it and add a couple segments. So we're going to extend another Bears show, and we're going to go ahead and remove Keeping It Fantasy. So I'm sorry, you guys, all you fantasy heads that were our loyal fantasy heads that were in the chat room cheering us on those late nights. But fantasy, Keeping It Fantasy will be no more, sadly. But let's go ahead and move on. That's enough morning Keeping It Fantasy. The Chicago Bears fall to 2-7 in a loss against the New Orleans Saints, 24-17. The first half, I was very optimistic. Tyson Bagent again looked smooth. It was. I felt like he was like bouncing back from his loss again, from his bad game the week before, and he was performing well. That touchdown to Cole Kmet, the two touchdowns of Cole Kmet, dimes. They were dimes, beautifully thrown balls. Cole Kmet had a really good game. That first catch was one of the more aggressive catches I've ever seen. There's more athletic catches I've ever seen Cole Kmet make, and you got to give him credit for that. But looking at that interception he threw in the first half, because he had one interception in the first half, that was something that it was something that I had brought up before. Is they went spread formation, right? The first two interceptions, actually, they were in spread empty with Foreman out wide to the right. Now, you had Foreman open technically, but because his progression took him to his left side to right, he just saw his timer in his head went, all right, boom, Kmet. But he didn't see the corner sitting there ready to go ahead and jump the route. So for me, that goes to scheme. Why is Donta Foreman out wide? First of all, you'll be able to pass block a little better. You'll have him chipping guys or just, taking on somebody that's coming free. Second, if he does, chip somebody, he could just roll out. And there's a lot of space out there for him to do so. And to me, it's just little things like that. Players out of position, wrong plays called that take away the momentum of certain players. Those are the things that really kill the drives. They kill the progression of players. Luke Getsy just needs to understand that, you should simplify your game plan. They got away from 12, 13-man formations. They got away from the bigger sets. They started, and they got 20 carries by Donta Foreman, right? The other running backs, I believe it was, let me go ahead and make sure I'm not shorting them, but 1 attempt from Evans, 2 attempts from Roschon Johnson, 6 and 2 yards, respectively. Okay, 20 yards for Foreman. You got 8 from Bagent, and those are really, really scramble yards. And I was impressed by him. It wasn't I didn't feel like any of those were designed as much. Maybe obviously a couple of tush pushes or whatever, but I didn't think he was forced to be a runner. I thought he saw his progression. It wasn't there. The play broke down. Boom, I'm gone. I have room. Let me go get 10 yards. And he ended up with 8 carries for 70 yards. So, that was something that I liked. And that was something I was trying to preach about Justin last week, or before he got hurt, was a lot do not force him to be the runner. He'll take off if he has to. But now I feel like he's just being forced to be a runner in this system. And I thought that Tyson Bagent did a good job of just reading the plays broken down. Oh, there's 10 yards. I'm going to go get it. And I think Justin could do the same thing. Let's eliminate some of these design runs. For the second one as well, it was another interception. It was forced down the middle to Mooney. It looked like he just didn't see the safety back there, coming in on the route. And Tyson does a good job at progressing. His progressions are really good. But there's times where I feel like when his timers is ding, 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 he tries to force it a little bit. There was a couple of throws the week before against the week before where we had guys in his face, and he just kind of threw it up against Washington, I believe. He just kind of threw it up. There should have been a couple more interceptions that weren't that were dropped, but for me, I feel like he gets a little rushed at the end of his progressions. If it's like, all right, I went to 1, I went to 2, oh shit, 3, 4. It's a rookie vibes for me when it comes to this. I don't think that this is uncorrectable, but this is what you're going to get with the rookie quarterback in the NFL. And like I said, he belongs here. He belongs here. At worst, he's a backup quarterback in the NFL coming from a Division II school, undrafted. I mean, that's a hell of an accomplishment for anybody, especially us, couch potatoes that are sitting here, talking about these guys. It's a great accomplishment for him. But I also said they need to take his career one step at a time, and it's all up to him. I think he's going to get this start this Thursday, and I don't want to jump the gun, but I do believe he's going to get another start. I do believe that they're going to be cautious with Justin because they're going to have a long break after this. So why not give the kid another shot, right? Why not give him another start? He's going to be under your control for a while. Whatever decision you're going to make at the end of the year, you can make at the end of the year when it comes to Justin Fields. But with Tyson Bagent, you have something that needs progression. You have something that needs watering. You have something that needs to be taken care of, nurtured, to grow. And, we look at Justin Fields, and a lot of people want to point to, oh, it's been 3 years. He needs to fucking have it. Well, it's been 3 years with fucking Matt Nagy. It's been 2 years or 1.5 years with this coaching staff, and we all know their issues. So to me, he's just kind of got the short end of the fucking stick with the Chicago Bears. And Olin Kreutz had said, hey, if I was Justin Fields, I'd be asking for a trade. And at first I was like, yeah, you're probably fucking crazy, Olin, a little bit. But he's right. He's right. If I was Justin Fields, I would have asked for a trade as well, because it seems like they're, for instance, the past couple weeks, you've seen a higher number of attempts from Tyson Bagent, right? It seems like they're very comfortable with putting whatever on his plate and letting him go out there, although he has flaws. For me, I just don't see them doing that for Justin. And Justin he has his faults, but I don't see them doing as much for Justin. Like they're throwing the kitchen sink, it feels like, at Tyson Bagent, and he struggled a little bit, although I feel like he's done an admirable job. I just don't see them doing enough when it comes to just either of them. They kind of screw, because you should have took less off of Tyson Bagent's plate and continued to use that fucking monster of a running back in Donta Foreman. Donta Foreman should have had 30 carries. 30 carries. You control the clock. You control the line of scrimmage. You get them tired. He was a battering ram, man. He should have had 30 carries, 120 plus. I guarantee you, if you continue to go ahead and utilize him and make him a factor instead of trying to force your rookie quarterback to be the man right away for some whatever reason, I think the Bears might have been able to pull something off in this past game. And in the Washington game as well. Not the Washington game, excuse me. Not the Washington game. The Viking game. Either way, I just feel like you, as an offense, continue to show us that you don't know who you truly trust to go out there and make a play. Is it Tyson Bagent? Is it DJ Moore? And we'll get to DJ in a minute because DJ, again, they can't fucking find DJ Moore out on the football field. 5 targets. We'll get to DJ right now. 5 targets, 3 receptions, 44 yards. He had the fumble, yes. But I think his frustration, you could see it in interviews. You could see it. I mean, what did he get? He got a gift the other day, and he was just like, "Thanks, thanks for the sweater. Here you go. All right, see you later." You could sense the frustration with DJ Moore, and I hope they could go ahead and find a way to generate more targets towards him, whether it's Justin, whether it's Tyson. Just do it. I know you guys have been in the chat. Jackal should be here shortly. I'm trying to get caught up here, so if I miss you guys, I'm sorry. If you have any questions, I'll try to star them and get to them later. I'll just put up your comments as I see them. It's going to be random anyway because I like to keep my eyes a little focused. I got a couple of screens popped up here. So it's not that I'm ignoring you guys. It's just kind of difficult doing this, back and forth. I gotta get well seasoned here. So we'll see how it goes. But let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about this offense. Cole Kmet starting to become, and I mentioned it before, reliable. I think it was the Bronco game, even in a loss. He was found a few times. I believe he had a touchdown in the game. I think he was 5 for 5 before he had that 10 for 10 game. And that's when I really saw, like, okay, if Cole Kmet could just be where he needs to be, right? Not go ahead and whiff on blocks, continue, be solid on that end, and just be reliable when the ball's thrown to them as far as catching it. That's all you could ask for. I don't need him to go ahead and beat George Kittle, although I would love a George Kittle. Right now, he just has to be Cole Kmet, and that's just if your number's called, make the fucking play. Make the play. I'd like to be him to be a little bit more aggressive, but he's not the blow away tight end. He's not Vernon Davis, right? Going a little old school. He's not Travis Kelce. He's not Antonio Gates. Some of these bigger guys that are going to just maul you and use athleticism on you. He's a solid tight end if he can continue to just do his job. That's just my opinion. Why they gave him the money. They see probably the same thing where he just needs to grow. But it's hard to grow. It's hard to develop when you continue to have these offensive blunders. And, I know Tyson Bagent had a lot of faults, especially that fourth quarter, the second half, the fourth quarter it was just all downhill. It just seemed to all unravel. And with all the faults and with all the mishaps for the Chicago Bears, they were still in the game. I believe it was still a 17-17 ball game going into the fourth. I might be mistaken. No, 17-17 going into the fourth, right? You have an opportunity to lead your team down the field. And this is why I say it was forced, because you could notice you were in a tight game, right? And I felt like controlling field position and controlling the clock were very important. Trying to force and I'll take force back a little bit, but giving him too much leash as far as what you're going to give him to process, what he's going to see. He's in his third game? No way. He hasn't seen every NFL defense, that's for sure. He hasn't seen every disguise. So I just felt like you put too much on his plate. You asked him to do a little bit too much, and it's not his fault. It's not his fault, although he deserves blame. It's not his fault because your coaches should be the ones that understand that and to protect you. 18 for 30, 220, 2 tuds, 3 picks, 2 sacks, 65.3 rating. The fumble. Yeah, it did. At the end, it didn't look good at all. It looked like a rookie quarterback. He looked like a very young, young new rookie quarterback. It was kind of shocking to see because of how well he played up until that point. And to be honest with you, like I said, it's something that he's going to have to learn. He's going to have to learn through this. He's going to have to, go back in the film room, try to understand that he needs to settle himself at times because, like I'd mentioned, I think there's when he goes to his progressions, because he does do that. When he feels like there's pressure coming and he reaches that second, third progression, and he doesn't see it, I feel that he's like, all right, it has to go now. It has to go now. And that's a good thing, but he could rush it a little bit. And that's what I feel like he's been doing as of late. But let's go ahead and move on. Donta Foreman, talked about it before, 20 rushes, 83 yards. Just needs more. We need more of him. We need more running Donta Foreman. He's a feature back. I know we're going to get Khalil Herbert back. That's good news. But even with Khalil coming back, Donta Foreman is your workhorse. Donta Foreman is the guy leading the charge. And I don't think it's close as of right now. I know Khalil Herbert has explosion. He was playing well, before the injury, but we've already waited 4 weeks to re-see him, right? After that first game in Green Bay, we barely even saw him on the field. Then we had to wait 4 more weeks to get him back out on the field. And then he's really, really good when he's out there and you're giving him the football. And it's just like you want to give me a heart attack. You want to give Phil a heart attack because then you just go ahead and put him back on the shelf. You take him off the field, put him on the sideline. And it's just so frustrating because how do you think that's building momentum? How do you think the player is generating momentum? How do you think it's to me, it's you're trying to fit everybody in. You're trying to use all your toys. And sometimes you don't need to. Like, for instance, you went 20 carries is nice with Foreman, but you need to be able to go to him more. Like I said, 30 attempts should have been 22 to 20, 22 to 25 maybe. And Foreman should have the ball 4 or 5 more times. At least. I thought I had my producer in here, but he went ahead and dropped out. I don't know if he's having some technical difficulties or what. Let's go ahead. We're going to move forward. When he comes back out, I'll introduce him. Let's go ahead and get into these interviews. The Bears, to sum up this Saints game, the defense, I thought, did enough to where you had an opportunity to win. And the offense, for whatever reason, just they don't want to establish themselves as a certain team. It just seems like they want to be everything at once, and they don't know who the hell they are again. So the defense, they're not great, but they did enough to, I believe, for the Bears to win that game. And I'm going to put this one on the offense because I see small progressions. There's things that I really like on defense. Obviously, Sweat didn't get a sack, but I still want to see him progress. I like how Gordon is looking here and there. I like Stevenson, even though he was struggling. I do like Stevenson, and I believe he's going to be a really good player. But on offense, it's like you don't allow, like, you take away my joy and all our joy because you're not allowing your best players to eat. DJ Moore, Donta Foreman. And, even with Justin, it just seems like you're trying to make Justin into something that you want him to be instead of something that he is. And it's been a struggle to watch. It's been, I got a clip here from BHL, and I wanted to talk about the rant, because even like Phil's like energy, right, when he comes and goes into a rant, it's infectious. It gets everybody up. And it was kind of ironic because he came out a little just kind of somber, man. And that's how I felt. It's like, yeah, it's ugly. It's ugly. And I felt for him. I felt for all of us because we had to watch this, but it was more of a somber like rant, even though he got fired up a bit. But it's starting to affect us all in a way that isn't good. And what I mean by that is people are starting to not give a fuck. And that's not good. When you stop caring, what else do you have? When you stop caring, it's over. So it was exactly how I felt. It was exactly, what we were all thinking. But here's a little piece from BHL. I thought the guys hit it on the head here.
It's terrible.
I hear you, man. No, I get it. It's hard to watch, Phil, but if you're a TTNL patron, we spoke on it at halftime that the second half, you just knew, for whatever reason, in Hallis Hall, in Luke Getsy's mind and Matt Eberflus's mind, if they see what their personnel does well, they're going to do it. It's the small amount of possible that you can do it, and working. Then just go away from it.
Then they go to
have
let's
a lot
go spread.
Lots
let's
of words.
No set. I mean, come on, fans deserve better than that. I mean, this guy couldn't call a fucking powder puff game. It's getting so there's no identity. I don't understand what he does. 12 personnel was working. Run threat, going after it, hitting the hole, action off of it.
I hear you, man, and it's just and I'm not gonna hold Velas accountable for the face mask. I said that he was getting held for a solid 6 to 8 seconds, and they picked out the face mask out of that scrum. But to put him in on offense at any point, Phil, it just makes no sense. They're clearly trying to force it, and it's over. It's been over. He brings nothing to this team other than the occasional, explosive return. And even at that point, it's not, the juice isn't worth the squeeze, as they say, with him. Move on. Listen, if you are excited and think that you can work with Velus Jones, cut him. Nobody's gonna claim him. Put him on the practice squad then. Let him sit there. Maybe that's the wake-up call that he needs. Bring another wide receiver up, or a guy that's on the street that's got some upside, something that you can add to this team. Velus Jones brings zero, but they're doing it over and over and over again every week, putting him in positions to try and make plays, and he's not out there just not making plays. It's big turnovers, and I know it wasn't on him today with that. They called it a incomplete pass, but come on, what are we doing at this point? You're 2-7 now. Cody Whitehair's still playing. Lucas Patrick had the worst snap of the season, and think about that. Think about all of the bad snaps that we've seen this year. Lucas Patrick one-upped it today and rolled it from his ankles all the way back to Bajan.
In a critical down by 7 snap.
2-7, and guess where they're going to be? They're going to be back out there Thursday night starting. Justin Fields at quarterback. And it is what it is. There's no direction with this team. They're all over the place. They really are.
Yeah, saw it, heard it. I'm telling you the same thing, man. It's been hard to be a Bears fan. Just thinking about what Grumpy Bear just said. Thanks for the donation, Grumpy Bear. Appreciate you. I'm glad Phil turned it down during his rant. It's not healthy being a Bears fan. Yeah, I mean, Phil's going to get fired up again. You know what I mean? It's the emotional roller coaster, the ride that this team gives us. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what really is the frustrating and dejecting part. That's why there's, so we put so much into this, Phil and Shane building this network, Cars, of course, helping build this network, everybody on here, all the producers, we put a lot of work into this stuff. And I get, it's for the fans. It's for the love of the Bears. But at a certain point, you got to have some type of give back from the organization as fans. And I'm talking about not only us, but you guys going and spending your money there. I had another comment here, Daryl. Until the fans stop going to the game, stop watching, this whole mess will continue. But unfortunately, it won't happen. Daryl, 100. Absolutely. That's it. They have to see Soldier Field bare in order for them to really make some drastic changes. Unfortunately, I don't see it happening as well. Like, there's, we all love our Bears and we all want to see them succeed. So there's this, perpetual hope that it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's like Cubs, it's like Cubs fans for over 108, 8 years. It's going to happen. It's got to happen sooner or later. And I hope it's not 108 fucking years, because that'll just light me up. I mean, it's obviously I wouldn't be able to do anything at a certain point, but it'll really grind my gears. I'll tell you that much. Either way, man, we're hoping for a miracle here when it comes to this football team, and I don't know if we're going to get it. Let's go ahead and jump into these interviews. This was the interview post-game right after the loss to the New Orleans Saints. Here's Matt Eberflus and his comments.
Okay, good evening. Just an update on Kari Blasting game. He's in concussion protocol, so we'll see where that goes for this week. But obviously, it's going to be tough to get back there for him. We just hope he's okay and hope he's doing fine with that. Overall, for the game, I thought we took the ball. Decided to take the ball with the coin toss there, and guys did a really good job of taking the ball on the field. I thought that was the first 15 was really good, and obviously we scored a touchdown there. That was excellent. Got a 4-and-out on defense, and then we had that one interception from there. And really in the first half, I thought our offense did a good job operating. We got some good yards in there from a bunch of different ways. Running the football was a big goal for us today, and I thought we accomplished that goal. Stopping the run was also a big goal for us, and I thought we did that as well. When you look at the third downs in the first half for the defense, it wasn't good, right? We were 5 of 6. Didn't do a good enough job on that, but we came back in the second half and they ended up, 7 of 14, but we did a good job with that, adjusting, and the players did a good job of executing to give ourselves a chance to win in that situation there. Really the story of the day, right, is just the takeaways. You can't. It's hard to win. The league's pretty even, in most spots, and it's hard to win when you have -5. And again, that's a whole team thing, right? It's us protecting it, us protecting the quarterback, us getting on defense, and us doing a better job there, taking the ball away on D. So again, that's really where the story was. Again, I love the fight of the guys at the end there. Defense gave us a chance at the very end with those stops that we had and with the missed field goal that they had. But with that, open to questions.
Tyson Bagent's day, it looked like things were going very well for him through 3 quarters, and then a lot of problems at the end, turnovers, not a lot of completions. What happened to him in the 4th quarter?
Yeah, just I'm gonna have to look at it. And what I saw out there was they play man coverage, right? That's what they do. They're tight coverage there, and we were throwing it in the tight windows, and we got to do a good job with our decision making and accuracy, and that's where it is. And again, I'll look at the tape to see exactly what they were doing. But again, that's the first number 1 job of a quarterback is to protect the ball.
I would say so, Ken. No bueno, indeed.
At the end to win, Like it was there
Yeah.
to take?
Oh yeah. We made stops on downs on defense. We had time. We still had time. We still had time, and the guys were fighting and battling. And because of that, we made it a game at the end. And so I really believe that we had a chance at the end there.
What was the biggest difference for the defense in the second half? They gave a couple touchdowns in the first half, no touchdowns in the second half.
Yeah, it's just the third downs. Yeah, the reason they kept those drives, we were playing the run great. We were tackling good. We were doing all those things well. And during that first half, the only thing that they had on the plus side was the third downs. Like I said, 5 of 6, and I believe 2 of them were in the red zone. So that's where we needed to get corrected, and we made the adjustment, and they did a nice job.
Are you guys optimistic about Justin after seeing him throw Friday?
Yeah, he's day-to-day. We'll find out more tomorrow, and we'll see where it is because, he started throwing, which is a positive, and we'll see where it is in terms of his functionality.
Are you hoping that he could be back Thursday?
We'll see where it is. We'll see.
How was the week at large? How do you think you and the team handled that? There was a lot going on. You had trades. You had trade demand that didn't happen with Jalen. You had David Walker, and then you go on the road Saturday.
Yeah, I would say really good. Obviously, if we would have won the game, it would have been great. It's not great because we lost. But our guys hung together. They always do.
That's good, Coach. You can admit that.
They came out ready to play today. And again, if we get the ball right, we would be right today. So that's where it is. But guys were physical. They finished every play, and they played our style, which is the style we want to play.
Tyreek Stevenson left with an injury. What's the latest on him?
Yeah, we'll see where he is. I know it was a lower leg injury. We'll see where he is tomorrow.
What's the key to the running game? Doing well early in the game, especially the first half, and then there were any adjustments that they made because it didn't seem like there was many big holes as there were earlier.
Again, they shift their front a little bit here and there, to overload that one side that we were running to the whole time. And that's, again, my hat's off to them. They made the adjustment, and it wasn't as effective as it was. But again, I thought we did a really good job overall during the course of the day of running the football.
They don't talk much about Bajan's ability to run with the ball, but it seemed like he really took advantage of things out there. I could get 70 yards rushing.
Yeah, he's had some really nice plays. It wasn't just the QB scrambles. There was a disconnect from the runner a couple of times. Where he kept the ball on those, and that was cool to see him on the edge there. And also the keepers. He had some waggles and boots where he got on the edge and had a chance to either run pass option, and he did a good job with that.
What was the plan for Sweat today going in?
Yeah, just play him on the third downs, play him in the 2 minute, and again, my hats off to the defense. Really did a really nice job at the end of half, 2 minute during that situation. They still had some time, they still had some timeouts, and our guys did a really good job with that. But for the most part, play him third down, 2 minute, and we were going to roll him in first and second down. So it was a good plan.
How do you look, dude?
Look good. I thought he had a couple good pressures. There, he's getting his feet wet. Different style of defense. A little bit different terminology. So for him to come in here and play that many plays, it was cool.
What was the significance for you guys to get that deal done yesterday? To get it done, not exactly right away, but before you'd even played a game, and now it's finished.
Yeah, it's extremely important. Ryan and his staff did an awesome job working through that and getting that done in a timely fashion, and we're all excited. When you add a pass rusher, to your defense and to our franchise, that's a big deal for us going into the future.
You and Ryan both talked this week about how you felt you were closer than people thought. In what ways are you? In what ways aren't you?
Good question.
After a game like this today.
Well, this would be evidence that we are very close. Because being -5, in the turnover margin and keeping it that close, the ability for us to show our style. Our style is to run the football, stop the run, be physical, and we just got to get the ball right.
What do you
Dang, am I back now? Thank you. Thank you, Jackal. Sorry, I'm muted again. Went muted again. No, I was going to say that he says that, yeah, we want to stop the run. We want to run the football. but then you let your rookie quarterback throw 30 times, and they were finding success on the ground, whether it would be in Shaka, whether it be in, a heavier set 12 under center. They were finding success. The thing is that they took it away at the wrong time. It wasn't like a situation where you were down big in LA or San Diego, whatever you want to call them. But you had an opportunity to continue to run the football in order to establish yourself. And I just felt like Donta Foreman should have had a bigger game than he did. We all could see him taking off. He almost had a big touchdown run. He just got tripped up. He's ready to go. I think he's his little warm up or rust knockoff or whatever, what have you, from not playing for 4 weeks. I think that's done. I think he's a guy that is very angry and wants to play football, and you should utilize that instead of going ahead and forcing your rookie quarterback into a position where he's not ready for. Like I said, one step at a time with him, one step at a time. Let's keep moving forward.
Think of Tyson's experience here now. If Justin's back next week, this is it for Tyson for now. 3 starts, some ups and downs. How do you think he did filling in?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of his operation, okay, and knowing, the offense and operating the huddle, in and out of the huddle, for a guy to come in there, as a rookie like that, was pretty impressive when you think about it, and I think he's had really good moments in that, the starts that he's had. And again, he's going to build off of that. He's got to learn. The most important thing Tyson can do now, because the performance is over, is to learn from his performance and to get better, and to partner up with the coaches, with the offensive coordinator, with myself, and look at those plays where he needs to improve, and also look at the good plays. There's a lot of good plays out there that he had, in the first half, third quarter today, and he's got to build off of both those things.
You guys, I think they were on your half of the field for every play of the fourth quarter. Have you ever seen that before, number one? And number two, the game seemed to kind of grind to a halt there at the end with both defenses playing pretty well. Did you think you had a chance at the end to break through there?
Yeah, we always do think we have a chance. We just needed one takeaway on defense to give ourselves a short field and put ourselves in scoring position, or a kick or a punt return or a kick return, whatever that might be.
He should. I wouldn't just go ahead and throw it on the defense. Oh, we just needed one takeaway. No, your offense needed to not give the fucking football away 5 times. If you don't give the football away 5 times, especially that first one, I believe they went right down the field. They got their first touchdown on that interception, if I'm not mistaken. Regardless of that, 5 turnovers on offense is major, coach. Should have just say, hey, we just needed 1 turnover there. I think if you limit your turnovers on offense, it's a very different ball game. But it's neither here nor there, I guess, with this coach.
They flipped the field because of the turnovers. They were playing on the midfield most today, and that happens sometimes. And that's called sudden change. And our defense did a great job of rising up to the occasion on most of those occasions during the course of the day, getting the 3 and out, making them punt, stopping them on downs, and doing that. And this gives our team a chance.
What do you make of the offensive line penalties today? I think everybody but Tevin had either a false start or a hold.
Yeah, you go back and look at those. Obviously the false starts are the false starts. We got to clean those up. But the holdings, you got to look at them. Sometimes that happens when you extend plays on the perimeter. When you're extending plays as a quarterback, that happens sometimes. But again, I'll go look at them. I'll look and evaluate all those penalties and see what we think.
Your discipline is lacking when it comes to these penalties. I'll say this. There were a couple plays, a couple runs that did get called back. From what I can remember now, there was one that Donta Foreman had, I believe, first down, big yardage, nice little chunky yardage. And it gets called back because of 2 holdings, one on Braxton Jones, one on Lucas Patrick. And then I believe the next play, it was either the very next play or a few plays later, you get Braxton Jones again with a false start. And you had an opportunity to drive the football there, and you squander it because your team isn't disciplined enough. And that falls right on you. That falls right on you, Matt Eberflus. You can't dance around this, okay? Like when it comes to team discipline, that falls directly on you and your coaching staff to have them well prepared enough to not be false starting and not be holding. And I get, holdings on every play, but you got to be better. At this point, I don't think anybody, and I know Shane had said he didn't give Velus, he's not going to give Velus shit for that face mask, which I won't either. But anything else Velus does, I just can't. I cannot give him shit because I have him under a microscope, just like I have everybody on this team pretty much under a microscope because they should be. Everybody on this football team, from head coach to quarterback to the fucking water boys, should be under a microscope because it's enough is enough at this point. You're playing for your job here. I think you're coaching for your job in Matt Eberflus. I really do. I think Luke Getsy's coaching for his job. You already have a vacated spot as a defensive coordinator because you had to get rid of his ass. I don't think Hightower will be back. I don't. Hasn't done much to move the meter for me. So this is a team that just needs to change house and move forward and continue to build through the draft. I really do believe that they can continue to build. They've added pieces in the draft that will hopefully bloom into something. I really believe in adding youth. But right now, man, the guys that are leading your team and that are supposed to be delivering the accountability, supposed to be delivering the discipline and the understanding, and they're just not – it's not there. It's either one ear and out the other, or they're just not listening to them at all. And they keep saying that, yeah, we're together. I just don't see it. I can see frustration, like I said, on DJ Moore. I can see certain frustration with certain guys. Like it might not have been a full mutiny, but there's some frustration. You've seen it on Justin's face time and time again. There's frustration building. So to continue to just we're good. Our culture is great. We love it. I just feel like you're full of shit, and you just need to be straight with us. You need to be straight with us.
An explanation on the Bayless flag, or the face mask.
Yeah, it was the face mask. He grabbed it.
When you have penalties, kind of a real inopportune time like that, is that a learning lesson, or should you guys be past learning?
You just can't do that. We're pro football players and coaches. We know that you can't grab the face mask. We got to be better than that.
On the Tyson Bajan scramble in the first half, that they marked it short and then you challenged and then won the challenge. Just kind of talk about the operation, like how you decided to do that.
Yeah, so upstairs, Harry's upstairs, and we're always looking at it. And I thought that it was spotted short to begin with. So we looked at it on replay, and then we had enough time, and again it was early, so we just threw it, and we had a good look at it, and it was overturned. It was good by the league.
You guys have your quarterback depth chart the way it is for a reason. Justin's your starter for a reason ahead of Tyson. What does Justin bring to you guys when he comes back that you don't have right now?
I would just say the experience factor. Him playing all those games, certainly an experience factor, and he's operated in this offense. And he's had some good weeks. Prior to the Washington game, he's had some good games this year. So we're excited to get him back when he comes back, and certainly the dimension of also the disconnects and running the ball. He likes, he can obviously run the ball, and the quarterback runs are viable there too, and the perimeter is getting under attack more. So that's what he brings.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
All right, that was Matt Eberflus post game. Bears Saints. Bears lose 24-17. I just don't see it. I've mentioned it before. He sounds like a guy that's drowning. Whenever you hear him speak, he sounds very, it's very to the point. Like he doesn't really give you much, but then he'll try to just sugarcoat certain aspects, which I don't understand. I think a more direct approach. I mean, you don't have, like I said before, you don't have to cuss people out. You don't have to directly call people out, but you could definitely point the finger at yourself. You could say us, we didn't do this, we didn't do that. Not necessarily, we needed to get a turnover on defense and that was it. It's like, no, we needed to protect the football from the jump as an offense. We needed to protect the football. Our defense needed to make one more stop, or you need to start being real with this fan base. I think he's already lost, so don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted where I think he's gonna be around. It's hard to listen and watch him knowing that he struggles so much at the podium with, delivering answers to questions that, I feel like are legitimate and that are easily, that should be easily answered. So it's definitely not Matt Nagy, but it's not great at all, in my opinion. All right, let's go ahead and bring him out real quick so he can say hello. And, the guy, he's my producer, Christopher Jackal. Welcome. You're on mute too, so be careful. There we go.
I did not talk. It looked like when I was sitting in the back, hello, by the way. But when I see you going, I'm like, wait, is my computer frozen? I see your mouth going, and then I'm like, wait a second, you did it again. Yeah, so I'm glad I could do something for you in the background, man.
Did it again. I appreciate it. I am good. I appreciate you going ahead and unmuting me.
Hey, you do what I can to, appease the bosses here.
I appreciate you. Yeah, I appreciate you. How's your day? How's your night?
Good day. Moving furniture at my wife's grandmother's house, which is always a good time. But at the same time, good time to spend with family. So, but here we are. A little ABS action. Another Bears loss as well. And same old.
Did you watch the game? Did you watch the game?
Not live.
Not live.
I had my last soccer game from one of my sons, so it was finally season's over, which is a beautiful thing.
Did they win?
They did.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Finished the season on a strong note. Nice. They had a good season this year. Conrad had a good year. So, but I did catch. I watched a replay. Taped the game, and it's the same old, man. I think I might even nailed the score from last week. I think I said it was going to be 24-17. I was thinking about that before I jumped on. And the turnovers. It's the same shit, different day, and it's just frustrating. I'm hoping for a tie on Thursday, to be honest with you. See how I saw it in the chat. I literally have been thinking about that all day. That's a good point. But yeah, I'm, here we are. Fucking Flus, Blabberjaw doing the same stuff. Looks like Nagy. Sounds like Tressman. It's just ridiculous.
Oh my God, he could be he's a merger of the two. I mean, facially probably not as close, but
Nestman.
I mean, he does have his forehead is kind of, the hair's receding. So he's got that Nagy forehead and he's got the Tressman kind of, it's just, he's a nightmare. It's just been a nightmare. Anyway, Jack,
there's so much back and forth, man. It's just ridiculous. The banter, you go anywhere right now. If you're a Bears fan, you talk to any other Bears, you're probably not agreeing on much at this point. It's just like everyone is so divided. It's wild.
Right.
Just want to fucking fast forward a few things. I want Justin to come back and play tomorrow, Thursday night, see how he does, and let's just get the season moving. Here we go.
Trust me, I think all us Bears fans are just wanting to fast forward this entire season and get to the off season, but we cannot do that here. We have to go ahead and grind with it. We grind with our Bears through thick and thin, and it's been very, very thin for a long time.
You're not kidding.
Anyway, Jackal, we'll bring it back out a little bit later.
Yeah,
let's keep moving. Let's keep moving with these interviews. Next interview, Tyson Bagent after the loss to the New Orleans Saints.
Tyson, can you take us through your day as far as what was going so well for you through three quarters, and then what went wrong for you at the end?
I think I did a good job of, controlling the game. I thought we did a good job of controlling the game, managing the play clock, especially with all, the atmosphere that they always tell you about, when you come here to play the Saints. Thought we managed that well. Thought we were taking advantage of a lot of things, and then really it just all comes down to myself in that last quarter. Being able to do a better job taking care of the ball. Coach talks about it every single day, how important it is to take care of the ball, and I didn't do a good job of that. So that's basically just me there in that last
last quarter.
What's the diagnosis on the interceptions in the fourth quarter? Both of them in tight coverage. Was there something that you misread or just tried to make a throw that ultimately they jumped?
Yeah, I think it was good on their part, bad on my part. Tight coverage. They made a couple really good plays. So hats off to them. But once again, I got to probably just go somewhere else with the ball. So that's on me.
Was it at all a product of just the offense stalling and you just trying to force something, trying to make something happen?
Yeah, I think it was all on me. Just forcing a couple plays there, and then you can't afford to take plays off in NFL because they come back to bite you. So got to be sharp on every play.
Tyson, despite the 5 turnovers, it was just a one-score game. How do you kind of just describe what this game was like? You guys didn't win the turnover battle, but it was still close.
Yeah, I thought our team played extremely well, which is why it's so embarrassing. Just because one-score game, lose a turnover battle by that amount, it's embarrassing. But it's part of the game, and I'm just looking forward to building and learning from this experience.
Tyson, if Justin is back next week and this is kind of the end of this run for you, how do you think it went in total?
I thought I took advantage. I thought I did a lot of good things. I think there's a lot of things that I can also learn from. But at the end of the day, I'm blessed beyond measure. I can't believe the position I'm in. I had an extreme amount of fun with all the guys having my back the way they did. But for me going forward, nothing changes. I'll continue to prepare as if I'm starting every game. So looking forward to it.
A clearer.
You just can't help but like the kid. I am not muting Bajent, Ken. This is the they've had even in the last interview with Flus, it sounded like his mic was lower than the mics of the press. So again, there's Mike Gate is back. So I don't know what's going on with their microphones, but it's definitely not me. But again, I just you have to have some type of respect for a kid who's honestly he knows he screwed up. He said he admitted it. Daryl said it best. He took his L like a man. He can't force the football like that. He can't, on a drive where you still have an opportunity, you can't fumble the football. You know what I'm saying? And granted, there's a lot to go on that last play, but you as a quarterback, knowing this and as young as he is, mature like this, and could speak like this and just be blunt, probably should have went somewhere else. That's probably not what I should have done. Can't do that. This is the NFL. You can't like I said, as a person, I think like he's a good person. And I think Justin's a good person as well. The way he carries himself in these interviews, I think he's the best interview between Justin, Eberflus, Getsy. I think he's the best interview because you get just real from Tyson Bajent. You don't get any BS, I feel like, from the kid, and he's gonna tell you, he'll be, jovial and fun when he's, I got a cannon when they're winning, or he'll tell you straight, hey, I got to be better when they're losing, and I like that from this kid.
Checklist of what you need to work on now that you actually play.
Yeah, of course. Repetition, mother of all learners. The best way to learn is to be thrown into the fire, so to speak. So I take a lot, a lot out of this experience.
You need to go. If you need to play on Thursday, what do you need to do to just kind of bounce back and such a quick turnaround?
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's pretty much. I think there's only one way to, and that's just continue to do exactly what I've been doing preparation-wise. I think that's the only thing that there is to do. I don't really know what else I would do. So just continue to do exactly what I've been doing preparation-wise, do a better job taking care of the football.
Did you feel like you were just a little bit late on at least 2 of the picks? Do you think that was the contributor? The one to Tyler, and then the second one, I think, also.
Yeah, I think I was late to the one to Mooney, and I think that I was on time to the one to Tyler. Just good coverage, a little bit behind him, which is all me.
again, did he struggle that second half? Yes. Has he shown flaws? Yes, but one step at a time. And if he's not the starter, he's going to make a lot of money in this league being a backup quarterback. I'm sure journeyman is, as of right now, is something that you could probably see. I don't know. Maybe he shocks the world, but like I said, one day at a time with him. We just don't know what he can become. Give him a couple more years under the same offensive coordinator, which I don't think is going to happen. Maybe. But as of right now, I just think he's a very mature young man. He understands the circumstances. He understands his actions on the football field. He understands that, protecting the football at all costs is the number one thing. And I just would like to see more of him. I just don't think it's going to be this year. Competition is good, especially at that quarterback position. It's, Justin not having any type of competition, I feel like is bad for him. Any quarterback having some competition behind their back, I feel like should be beneficial, regardless of if they draft somebody in this next draft or if it's just whatever the hell they do at the end of the year. I think having two young quarterbacks competing is something that's beneficial and something that the Bears just have never had. Never had two young quarterbacks that have been able to go out there and compete for a job, have potential, have talent. I think Tyson Bagent is as of right now, he's a solid number 2. He's just not he's not the guy that's going to win you the football game. And you saw that in the past couple games. Let's go ahead and move forward. This is Eberflus from from Monday, talking about the loss.
Okay. All right. Injury update. Kari Blasingame will be out for this game. He's in the concussion protocol. Brisker is back full go, and he's been cleared. So that's a positive for us. Excited to see him back. And then Justin Fields is still, in limited in practice. So I know we're walking through, but it's good to get him out here last week, and we'll see where it is. And he's day to day. So we're literally seeing where it is today, and then see where it goes from there, and we'll know more on Wednesday in terms of how that progresses. And also, Maine is also day to day. Tremaine Edmonds is also day to day. We'll see where he goes in terms of his workload today, and also tomorrow. We'll know more on Wednesday for sure. Relative to the game, as we talked about before last night, really comes down to our fourth quarter and the takeaways that we had in the fourth quarter, the giveaways. But again, those things always come down to a couple things. Obviously, decision making by the quarterback. That's certainly one of them, right? If you look at all the different ones, and then the receivers coming back to the football, and knocking the ball down. That's always an important factor there, and being friendly for the quarterback. So again, all those things happened yesterday.
You're welcome, bro.
I'm not going to get into particular details of each one of those things, but certainly we're pleased the way our football team played for 3 quarters during that time, and then just the takeaways in the fourth quarter hurt us. Love the way the defense responded to those on the short fields to keep giving our team a chance to win. But again, it's a team effort that has to come into place to win the football game. And we just needed more takeaways throughout the course of the game on defense to equal that amount, certainly up to the fourth quarter. Again, we're disappointed, but our eyes are forward on to Carolina. And this week is going to be, we have 2 of these this year, and it's going to be similar to last time. So we have walkthrough practices, coming in today, and guys get a lot of reps, and it's about really getting the bodies right. First with the performance staff. That's a big important part for our guys, and then getting the mind right. Getting the mind right for this challenge that's ahead of us with the short week, and getting the reps that we need to get to and walk through. And the guys did a fantastic job with that last time, and we need to duplicate that this time in terms of getting the mind and the body right going into this Thursday. with that, open up to questions.
And how does the short week affect Fields' preparedness to play and your decision to have him play against Carolina?
Yeah, like I said, it's literally, I know it's a shortened down time frame, but again, it's day to day. So we'll just decide, we'll look at it today, look how he's doing today, his functionality, and see where it is. Injury guys coming off of injury always comes down to the medical staff clearing them, how the player feels he can function in the game, and then the coach is looking at it and say, hey, yes, he can function at a high level and get the job done. So it's always those three factors.
With what Bajan's done, how, for lack of a better way of putting it, how badly do you need Justin to come back?
Well, I would just say that Bajan has done well. He's done well. Obviously, really played really well through 3 quarters.
Kind of a loaded
and
question
we're
there,
excited
Pops.
where he is. I think he had 271 yards through 3 quarters. In terms of passing and running. So we feel good where he is. But if Justin is there and is available and functional, we will go with him. So we'll see where it is.
Do you anticipate Khalil Herbert coming back, getting designated to return this week from IR?
Like I said, with Herbert and EQ and Blackwell, I believe, they're all eligible to open up their window, and we're discussing that later today to figure that out.
Matt, when looking back at the offensive play calls in the second half, what was the reason that Tyson was asked to maybe do more from the pocket than what he was doing maybe in that first half?
Yeah, it's again about the design of it. It's just there wasn't a reason for that going inside outside of the pocket. We were doing what we thought was going to win the football game, for us. And again, that's where it is. That's where it is. And again, some of those things in the fourth quarter were really about us just execution. The execution piece of it, and we got to do a better job. And protecting the football is number one. And when you do that, and when we've done that, we've had success as a football team.
Matt, when you look at the box score, it doesn't look like Montez Sweat stuffed the stat sheet, but it looks like he actually had a pretty solid pressure rate. So you go back and you look at the tape, what do you see that, maybe led to him having an impact, even though it's not showing up in the stats? Yeah,
No doubt. He did have it's really helped free up the other guys. You saw him chipping, guys chipping him out on the way out to the route, so that certainly helps other guys. And I thought our rushers were really rushing well and got some good pressures in terms of pressures on the quarterback, and made him force the ball on some of those third downs a little bit earlier than he wanted to. And certainly Tez was a big part of that. And he had a few of those as you mentioned.
He almost got there,
So
I think, once or twice.
It's going to be really big for us going forward, and a credit to him. I mean, shoot, he was here 4 days maybe before he got out there on the football field and learned a new language, so to speak, in terms of terms, and really functioned well in that environment and for a football team.
Is there something you're not seeing yet with Dexter and Pickens for them to have a more consistent role week to week? I know the snap counts for them seem to be fluctuating.
Yeah, we want to get those guys going. Really nothing to see there. We would love to get those guys going. I think Dexter's done a good job of pressuring the quarterback, and we just got to get him in there. Not to say that we're not trying to get him in there. It's just sometimes it's a function of, the rotation and then what's going on with third downs and 2 minute and those types of things. But we love those two guys. They're working their tail off and they're getting better. We really feel that they're improving, in terms of just, the takeoff and their pad level and the things that we want those guys to work on.
And with regard to those guys, is there ever a point where you will give them more snaps because the experience is more valuable than not? I mean,
Right. That's
I know you want
it's exactly perfectly said, Patsy. Like, why wouldn't the experience be more important? And maybe you're pulling them off to the side to talk to them or whatever. But again, you want them to gain experience. You want them to be out there. Well, why aren't they out there to gain said experience? Weird.
got to play your best guys, the best chance to win and all that. But at some point, there's a benefit to playing those guys. Well, do you think you'll ever reach that point this season where you'll do that just because you need them?
Yeah, I do. I think balance is good. I think, the more you can have balance with your, if you're rotating 4 tackles, it keeps, Billings a little bit fresher, keeps Justin a little bit fresher. And we're really pleased, obviously, with those two guys where they're at. And, but I think it'll help us in the fourth quarter if we balance those reps out, during the course of the first 3, so the guys are fresh at the end.
Cole Kmet led the team in all receiving categories last year, so he's obviously done it, but it seems like he's taking even another step, especially the catch that he made yesterday. What have you seen from Cole this season?
Yeah, just a pro's pro, right? He's been leading our football team, through this adversity that we're going through, and he's been great. His attitude and the way he goes about his business in terms of his work and his enjoyment of the day-to-day operation is just contagious, to everybody else. And that's what he's really done for me, mostly. Now, in terms of his performance on the field, has been outstanding. His blocking has been really good. I'm always showing him, on the day before the game, his extra effort blocking, him blocking two guys and him down the field blocking. And that to me is the stuff you don't see. And now what we do all see is the athletic catches and the catches that he had yesterday. And the credit to Bajan too, he put it on the money on both those. And when you throw a ball like the first touchdown, that's a 50-50 ball, and what a great catch that he had there, and able to come down with that, the concentration, to be able to hit the ground and, still make that catch, because you got to survive the ground on that one. And he did a really good job on that. And then the next touchdown was really amazing, just the sell, how he sold that with the block, and then the release off of that, and then the concentration to high point that ball, in the end zone there, and really just and violently tuck it at the end to secure the touchdown was really cool. But he had a lot of good plays other than that, and that we don't talk about. And he is just playing at a very high level right now.
Matt, understanding the big picture with Justin, if he is able to come back on Thursday, what do you hope to see of him for this final stretch of this regular season?
Yeah, we're like I said, Justin's day to day, and we'll see where it is. But when he comes back, we want to perform at a very high level, and as he's done in a few games leading up to this, and that's what we want to see from him.
Matt, last season your team didn't commit as many penalties, was one of the better units in the league. This year it kind of seems to be the exact opposite. How do you kind of explain that?
Yeah, I mean, you break them down, and we got to do a better job. There's too many holdings and too many false starts. And some of those you agree to disagree with. The holdings. I think we did a really good job of finishing guys yesterday in the run game, and I think we got called for a couple of those. So we'll see where that is, but we're always going to ask our guys to finish. I know Tevin had a really good game in finishing. There's a lot of good guys that really moved the line of scrimmage, and you could really see that and feel that during the course of the game. So we're going to continue to do that. We just got to be good with our technique. If we are finishing guys at the very end, we can kind of clean that up a little bit. But definitely the false starts, we got to make sure we take care of that going into the second half of the season.
On that note, of the right side of the offensive line with Tevin moving back there, how have you seen, that part get solidified? And do you feel like there's more opportunities when you watch the tape back from yesterday that you could have maybe sent more runs to that direction? Obviously, in the moment, I'm sure, you're doing what's effective, but do you see opportunity for that now?
Yeah.
Bingo, Courtney. Bingo. You've got a guy in Tevin Jenkins, and Tevin Jenkins is going to be the last interview of the night before we go ahead and get into our predictions for next week. But you have a guy who is on fire in Tevin Jenkins. One of the top-rated offensive linemen, according to PFF. He finishing blocks, not giving up any pressures in the passing game. Tevin Jenkins is starting to become essential. He's starting to be the best offensive lineman on the line. And we already knew he had the talent to be, but he is showing that as of right now, with the young guy next to him, Tevin Jenkins is starting to become the player we thought he was. I'll bet a different position, he's embraced it. His mental is correct, and he's starting to flourish. And I can't help but be excited for him. Moving forward, you got to be. We've criticized him here on this network, and I've criticized him myself. But when you're correct up here, and you're starting to, things are starting to go good for you, you gotta give him credit, man. He's done the work. He's embraced his new role. He's maturing into a really solid essential player for the Chicago Bears.
I think we sent a good amount over there. That's for sure. But having those guys next to each other is really, really cool.
We need more. Send more.
Because those guys can work together. They both have a lot in their bodies in terms of power and functionality at those positions. And you certainly saw that yesterday. But we feel good about running to the other side too. We really do, and it's been effective that way too.
Man, on the flip side of the penalty issue, I think this is the second time your opponent has had one penalty. How much do you as a coach feel like your opponent's penalties are a reflection of how you're playing? In other words, with the aggressiveness or just the approach that forces your opponent to make more mistakes and commit more penalties. I mean, you buy that? Is that a fair theory?
I don't know. I've never looked at it that way. But I always say that it's just the game is what it is, right? So we control what we can control. That's how I look at it. So the penalties are on us. We got to do a better job controlling those. And to me, it's about the pre-snap ones, and then some of those are judgment calls by the officials, like the DPIs, the holdings, all those things are some judgment calls that, like I said, you can agree to disagree with at the time. But again, the pre-snap penalties we got to take care of.
But as far as your opponent's penalties, do you feel like your aggression helps create those penalties? Create penalties by your opponent.
Yeah, I don't look at it that way. I don't look at it that way. Just focus on us, for sure. But I haven't looked at it that way.
You guys are 8 months removed now from the trade with Carolina in the off season. When you try to when you evaluate that in the short term of having DJ here, and then the long term of what it sets you guys up to do in the off season, how do you look at it?
It's been great. I mean, you figure that we had an opportunity to get DJ in that trade, and he's been remarkable. And he's a lot like Cole. He lights the room up, and he's a big part of our culture and a big part of what we do in day-to-day operation. And but what he does on the field has been great, and we're certainly excited to have that premier player on our roster for sure. And then leading into the future, I mean, it's really sets us up nice, and we're excited about what we can do with that going forward.
With Braxton Jones, what did you see out of him when he was on the field, and how did he come out of the game? Does it look like he could maybe play a full game on Thursday?
Yeah, he was good. He was good, but typically when you get a guy that comes back, there's a little bit of an endurance sometimes, and we felt that a little bit. So he rotated in there and did a nice job. He was really, really solid in there for the first time coming back, as they say, knocking the rust off a little bit, and he'll continue to do that, and we'll talk about the rotation as we get closer to the game.
Thank you. Thanks, Matt.
Matt Eberflus. Again, I don't want to say too much because I got Luke Getsy coming up, and as well as Tevin Jenkins. But we pointed it out. He's just drowning. He doesn't know what direction they're going, and he continues to just, hey, we're good. We're culture's this, culture that. The guys are together. Locker room is solid, and yet we just don't see it out on the football field. We don't see the fruits of that labor out on the football field. We see flashes. We saw flashes with Nagy. I don't want to talk about 18 because 18 was definitely a defensive type of year for the Bears. The offense, the offense was the offense. And it started to show after that year. But, just listening to this and being after coming off of that regime, the Pace Nagy regime, and going into the Poles Eberflus regime, it all continues. It just sounds like the same shit, the same word salad, the same cliche bullshit that is going to end up getting you fired. And hopefully it's sooner rather than later. I hope they don't drag it on like they did with Nagy for another few years, but my fear is that is what may happen. My fear is that is going to be the exact thing that they do. They get rid of maybe they get rid of Hightower. Maybe they keep Flus and Getsy. I don't know. I don't know the combination, but my fear is that these guys are going to try to run it back and just say, hey, we think we're this away. We think we're that away. We're right there. We're real close. And, we're going to deal with this all over again with a regime that can't seem to get right. A regime that can't seem to establish themselves on offense or defense with an identity that works. And he said that's our identity, running the football, stopping the run, playing good defense, generating turnovers. It's just you're not doing enough of that, and your team is not disciplined enough to not generate false starts, not hold when your running back just broke off a 20-yard run. And I know some of that is ticky-tack and the referees weren't great. They haven't been great, but it only goes so far to blame the refs. It only goes so far to blame the refs. At a certain point, you got to look in the mirror and say, hey, coach, you got to get this shit right. Let's go ahead and listen to Luke Getsy.
Luke, as an offensive coordinator, what do you like about starting with the ball?
It's smiling, this guy at 2-7.
Yeah, I mean, it's always nice to be able to get out and get going right away. I think that's something that benefits the guys. They're prepared. That you get those openers that you kind of plan and go through, and they're ready to rock and roll, chomping at the bit. So it's been going pretty well for us. So.
And what'd you like about that first drive? How it all came together?
Yeah, no, I mean, there was a bunch of cool things, right, that showed up. We had situational football that the guys executed really well in. We had the fourth and one we had to overcome too. And so a lot of cool stuff that we overcame. And, obviously finishing it off, Cole made an amazing play. Tyson did a nice job giving him opportunity to make that catch, and a good way to cap that thing off.
What did you like most about what Tyson did in the first 3 quarters? And then what are the coaching points on some of the interceptions that he threw?
Yeah, no, I thought he played a pretty solid game. You saw him manage it. We went into that game, just from how good of a defense that was, and evaluating how other teams had success against them. We knew him using his legs was going to have to be a part of that equation, and he did a great job finding those escapes and getting the most out of them too. Not just getting the minimum. He was doing a really nice job of extending those things and playing on the move. And then, we were able to get him out of the pocket a little bit, on top of himself getting out of the pocket. And I thought he handled himself really well in those moments. He was accurate with the football. We had a lot of third down conversions versus a team that was, I think, that was second in the NFL at the time, right, last week. To be able to do that, did a really nice job handling the protection adjustments, and was able to get the ball out of his hands and avoid taking those sacks against a really good front. So I thought all those things were really good that he showed.
With the walkthrough yesterday, how much can you evaluate Justin's ability to throw the football when it's not a practice setting?
Yeah, I mean, I think that'll just come down to Justin, the training staff, coach, and Ryan figuring out where they want to be and all that stuff. I think when you're in this moment, you're kind of out of that conversation from my perspective.
Putting together game plans, like concurrent game plans, one for agent fields, like how much variance is there in what you would do based on which guy plays quarterback?
Yeah, I think we talked about this last week. I think that's the cool part about how we put this thing together at the very beginning, where we felt like we kind of put it all out there for our guys and being able to take this thing in a few different directions, and the guys feel really comfortable in doing that. So I don't think from everybody else's perspective in that room, other than the 2 quarterbacks, it's not gonna feel like it's a different game plan by any means if we go one direction or the other.
Can you scheme around, if Justin's not 100%, but he can play, can you scheme around maybe some of the routes might not work as well for him, or maybe don't run him as much, maybe some of the mesh points are a little more of a concern? What parts of that can you plan around if he is going to play?
I mean, with anybody that's in a situation that they're, not able to do something, that happens in the middle of games, that happens in your preparation. So you're obviously going to take those things into consideration, no matter whether that happens during the game or in your week leading up to it.
It's a good question, Bob.
Yes, I guess the answer to you is yes.
It's bothering me for
whatever
weeks.
that is. We don't have KB this week, right? So we have to have a plan of how we're going to attack somebody without KB. So you're always going to have those battles that you're going to have to work through, whether it's during the week.
What's your confidence in Justin being able to navigate that?
So, I'm sorry?
What's your confidence in Justin being able to navigate that type of situation where he has to play with some limitations?
Well, he's proven that already, right? He's as tough as they come. So there's been plenty of moments in the 2 years I've been with him that he's communicated really well and then showed his toughness and played through stuff.
When he is back in the saddle and running the offense again, what do you set as his kind of growth targets for the last, whether it's 7 games, 8 games, whatever it may be for him down the stretch of the season?
Yeah, I don't think there's to say a target that makes it very specific. I don't think that's that. I think it's to continue to grow, right? It's the continued growth. It's to continue to improve on.
Okay, I think he meant it generally. What is what are the goals Justin could set forth in order to get that growth? What does he have to do to take those steps? And I'm not saying go ahead and get deep into specifics, but don't run away from the question like that. And you know what I mean? He didn't. It's not specifics. It's just where direction does he need to go? Like what little things can he do, or where can his mind be in order to go forward? I don't think you need to tell me what he has to do out exactly on the football field, but just anything other than just that, like specific. It doesn't need to be specific. It could be his mindset. It could be, it could be anything. You just let us know something about what you think your quarterback can do in order to progress this season, because he hasn't been progressing with you.
His overall game, right, on every aspect of it, both the run game, the protection game, and the pass game, and it's really important that we continue to grow, and keep going where we think he can go.
What stood out to you about Tevin since he's been able to get back on the field here this season for you, now that he's had a little bit of a stretch?
Yeah, no, I think Tev's playing well. I think it reflects that in our run game, where we're finding success down that avenue, and he's firing off the rock. He's playing physical. He's finishing as good as anybody on the field. I think all that stuff has been really good, really positive stuff for him to continue to build on.
Luke, Cole's putting together a really nice season for you guys. What have you seen from him through the first half of the year so far?
Yeah, I mean, it's that, like I've said, he's a really balanced player. He's becoming a complete tight end in that aspect of his run game is getting really good. His pass pro is getting better, and then obviously the receiving part of it and his run after catch is improving. So I think that's the coolest part about his game is that he's becoming more complete each and every week.
Ryan and Matt were telling us, 6 months ago or whatever, about how you guys thoroughly vetted all the quarterbacks in the draft this year. Young, Stroud, all these guys. What was your evaluation of Bryce Young? What did you see in him?
Oh yeah, we were very impressed with him. We were at his pro day too, and very impressive. Accuracy was easy. That's the thing that stood out for the kid is no matter whether it was down the field, or under 20 yards or under 10 yards, ability to get the ball quick. He showed a lot of that cool things that you're looking for in a guy to be a natural passer.
Luke, when you look back at the offensive play calls in the second half, did the Saints do anything defensively that asked Tyson to play more from the pocket those final 2 quarters?
No, I think at the end, I think somebody referred to in the fourth quarter, right? I think at the end they just did a really good job with all their line games and movements of kind of keeping him in that pocket, right? Where when you get in those moments of the game and you're more of a passing situation, teams are able to do that, right? They put 56 on the line, and then they're doing their picks and stunts, and I think it was the last one, right, that they picked Larry and then made the play, and so that's what happens, right? You get in those moments where they were mixing it up too, so they're rushing 5, they're doing their games, and then they're dropping 8, and so that's all good stuff that Tyson can learn from for sure.
Second to last drive,
We appreciate you, Daryl.
Took a deep shot to DJ on second down the left side, and then he came out for third down. How do you kind of explain the machinations of that, of not having your best receiver in for a key third down there late in the game?
Yeah, no, we took a shot, had the coverage that we wanted, took the shot, slightly overthrown, maybe didn't give him a chance quite, but close enough. But you're trying to get that 50-50 ball in the sense of down the middle of the field. That if we can get the PI or you make the play, you're in great position to go win the game. And then, players do that all the time. And then the guys stepped up. I thought the guys executed the next play really well. I mean, Tyler and Cole did a great job of handling that concept on that side. Tyler was screaming across the field, and we have the utmost confidence in our guys. You always want your best players on the field, but if that's just something that pops up in that moment, then the next guy's ready to step up.
I wasn't the end. What causes him to come out there? I mean, it's just.
Well, I think in that particular moment, he probably pulled himself out after running a 60-yard route. I would imagine that's how exactly it happened. I don't truly know, but I think that's along the lines of what happened.
How has having English? You've had him now for 9 weeks. How does that allow you to go deeper in your DJ? How does that allow you to go deeper in your playbook, maybe than you were able to last year with a player of that caliber?
No, I think it's a credit to him, his football sense, his football IQ, all that stuff. You can see we've lined him up pretty much everywhere on the field now as the season has gone along, and he enables us to do that. I think it's a cool part of working with DJ. There's not really a limit to, what he can take in each week that we, where we line him in the backfield, put him outside, inside, left, right, all that stuff, and different type of route combinations.
Okay, why can't you get him the ball? Why does he only have 5 targets? Why does he have the football in his hands more? Like, okay, he's willing and he's a good teammate. He's a team player, and he's able to go ahead and be utilized in different spots on the field. But it'll help if he had the ball in his fucking hands. Like, it's nice that he can be used in multiple ways, but getting the football in his hands is my main priority when it comes to DJ Moore. And it just, as of late, it has not been there at all. So, I'm happy that he's a good teammate. Like I said, team player, professional. But you got to get him the football. You got to get him the football. Like, telling me this doesn't tip the scale, bro. I need to see touchdowns. I need to see big plays. I don't need to. I mean, obviously 230 is an anomaly, but you need to see DJ Moore string together 75-yard games, 100-yard game, consistent games where he's being targeted like a number one receiver that he is. These guys, man, I tell you.
He's comfortable with, so that's been really cool to work with him in that aspect.
Luke, are there ways that the offense has advanced and grown in the last 3 weeks while Justin has been hurt that you want to see continue once he is back?
I mean, I feel like we've continued to grow. I don't think there's a particular direction, that we won't continue to grow in that direction with Justin back in the reins. So I don't think there's anything that shows up that's necessarily different from our point of view. There's things that we emphasize with whatever players in the game for sure. And so I think we just, we continue to build on the fact that, like we just talked about, DJ's moving around, doing a lot of really cool things. Mooney's has a nice night. Cole's has a nice night. The backs have been running hard. The guys up front are starting to get a little bit of chemistry playing with each other. So we just got to continue to build on all that stuff.
When he comes back, are you going to be looking specifically at those sack numbers? Because I know with Tyson being in there last 3 weeks, he hasn't taken a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Justin's last game, he took 4, and that's kind of been a consistent thing. Is that something you'll measure him on, like, however many more games he's able to play the rest of the season?
Yeah.
There you go. I mean, we have to dig it out of you. Like, this should be, we would definitely like for him to limit the sacks and progress that way and, protect the football and himself a little bit more. You could say that, Luke. You could easily say that, but I bet you won't.
I think that's something that we talked about. We looked in the offseason too. You have a guy who creates a lot of plays with his feet, and so you're going to get those 0-yard sacks sometimes, and you can't make a big deal too much about that when the next one's a 15, 20-yard gain for the same type of situation. So there's more to it, I think, than that. I think the thing that Tyson's doing really well, like you mentioned, is that those moments when he feels like he has to get the ball out or there was an issue that he's doing a really nice job of avoiding those.
How comfortable is Tyler Scott now and everything that you guys are asking him to do? Obviously, his playing time has gone up some since Claypool exited.
Yeah, he's definitely getting more comfortable. I think playing that position, I've mentioned this a couple weeks back, of just playing the wide receiver position for him is.
See, Joseph, that's a good, do you see how the parallels to Matt Nagy? Do you see the parallels? You want the guy to run your system. Matt Nagy had Pat Mahomes. They're similar. We're in a similar situation. I feel like we're in a time loop or some shit. We just we're in a screwed situation where the offensive coordinator believes in his system more than he believes in the players that he has to play said system. I mean, am I wrong? I'm not always right. But I don't think I'm wrong on this. Like, if you guys disagree with me, let me know. But it looks that way.
every rep that he gets is invaluable for him, that experience on the field. And now you can start to see him have a nice feel to matching our offense. So the different things we're asking him to do, whether it's in the run game or the pass game or even in the protection game, we're asking him to do a lot of that stuff, and he's getting a really good feel for all that stuff.
Tyson talked about on a couple of it, I think it was the second and third interception, just on the timing, but also they might have thrown it like a hair behind. I think Scott or Mooney on one of those. Is there anything he can do in season, like to make sure that he's got the same pace on all of his throws? Like, is there anything you can do to like improve arm strength in season?
Well, I just think that, all that stuff, it's having the experience and getting those reps with throwing to those guys, right? I think.
Well, I mean, like I said, both of those are behind, right? So obviously he was a little off on timing. I got to look back and see where he was in the pocket, if somebody was in front of him. I don't believe so, if I could remember correctly. But even with that, it's timing, right? It's timing, especially if you don't have a cannon of an arm. You're not throwing 80 to your wide receivers across the middle. It's timing. So it just, for me, it'll just be him getting better at timing the route, putting the ball where it needs to be in front of the receiver. Like I said, these are rookie issues. Even though he looks very good, like we talked about before, progression, release point, maturity at the mic, maturity on the football field. But, it's at a certain point, you can only hide his deficiency so much, right? So if his arm isn't that strong, I think his arm is fine and he can build up. But if his arm isn't strong, He just needs to be able to work around that, and that's by timing with your wide receivers. So
the timing and rhythm part of it, when he was really the fourth guy in training camp, right, at that time. And so, he's catching up on all that stuff. They work really hard before and after practice to pick up that lost time. And I think just playing with the guys, you can see the comfortability is getting better each and every week. And slightly off on a throw or something. That's part of it. And then everyone else has to kind of pick up the slack of that too.
Luke, if Justin's playing and you have to take into account that he can play, but maybe not do everything that you want him to do as well as he normally would. And I ask this because it's a short week. When would you and him make the call, get together and make that decision of, okay, maybe these parts of the game plan can't really be in play this week?
I don't think there's a moment. I think that's going to be, that would be a continuous conversation. I think that's in your week of prep, I think that's a pregame. I think that's a during the game conversation that, in this instance, and really every instance that I would, we go into a game, we're on the sideline and we're talking, and if he's feeling something during the game, or anybody's feeling that same way then during the game, then we'll lean toward those areas as well too. So I think that's just a constant conversation that we would continue to have.
All right, that was Luke Getsy. I just see the frustration in the chat. It's frustration on my, over here as well. It's this the young offensive coordinator wanting to establish himself, right? I feel like that's exactly what it is. Young offensive coordinator wanting to establish himself. It's worked with Aaron Rodgers. You had the opportunity to coach a Hall of Famer, but you don't have Aaron Rodgers out there, and you have two quarterbacks who have talent, who have traits that can benefit your football team, but they're not Aaron Rodgers right now. And you yourself, you didn't coach up Aaron Rodgers to become Aaron Rodgers. So it's kind of like, to me, it's kind of, it's an ego trip, but not as extensive as a Nagy, right? Like it's similar, but not as extensive, because there's still time for Luke Getsy to turn this thing around. Now, will he? Not from what I've heard. But if you continue to run the rock with Donta Foreman leading the charge, utilize the other couple backs, take pressure off of both your quarterbacks, both Justin and Tyson Bagent, whoever's in there, I think you could find some success. I think you could start turning things around. But when you try to force things, that's when you run into trouble. All three of those interceptions were out of shotgun, spread formation. Two of those had an empty backfield with the running back, Donta Foreman, spread out wide. And the other one had Foreman next to Bajan. He ended up picking up a block, but regardless of that, it seems to me like you're getting in trouble in the same formations that you want to be successful, that you continue to want to throw in there. And I don't know if your quarterbacks are mature enough or they haven't run it enough to be able to do exactly what you want to do. And not everything is not 100% is on Luke Getsy, but knowing your personnel, protecting your players, and running the plays that best fit your football team are directly in the control of Luke Getsy, the OC. So, it's plenty of blame to go around. But the biggest blame, it goes to the coaches. It goes right back to the coaches because you're the ones that are supposed to be implementing this, and it just seems like it's falling apart. Let's go to Tevin Jenkins, our last interview.
And do you feel like you're in a certain groove right now? Do you really feel like you've kind of found your stride, or does it not feel different to you at all?
I would say, yeah, I do feel like I'm in the groove. I mean, I'm starting to get more comfortable where I'm at. And starting to play next to Darnell, so getting an understanding what he wants and when he.
Real quick, Grumpy. I believe he was a quarterbacks coach, because Hackett was the OC. Getsy was the quarterbacks coach. I mean, I don't know how much of an effect he had on Devontae. I would say Devontae or Aaron Rodgers helped coach Devontae. So I mean, yeah, he was on the team, but he wasn't. I don't think he was directly involved with the progression of Devontae Adams. I appreciate the donation, Grumpy Bear. Thank you for the comment.
And playing off each other. So it's good.
What is playing next to Darnell like? What have you liked?
He's very aggressive. He plays the game very good. I like the way his play style is. He's very athletic. He's smart. Very communicative with me and everything. So I mean, it's a privilege just to even play next to him. So. Good.
Just describe the groove that you feel like you're in right now.
I mean, I feel like I'm getting my steps down right. Hand placement's good. Rolling people off the ball. I mean, I'm just moving people A to B. I mean, there's just stuff that how I want to play. Starting to show up.
Is that a good feeling too when you're driving guys back, knowing that a lot of power comes from your calf? That's not an issue at all.
Yes, yeah. It does feel good. I'm trying to get that. I get in the back mirror as always. Just things I still do to keep on top of it, like calf stretches, all that stuff. But just being able to use that calf again and be able to push off and use that power, it's been feeling good.
Do you feel like you're stronger this year? I mean, I know we've seen this from you before, but it's been really noticeable, just with the drive.
I'd say I'm probably around the same. I don't feel like there's notable differences, at least not in the weight room. So I mean, it's probably around the same.
Do you feel like the physical changes that you've made to your body, though, have maybe helped some of this?
I do believe that to be true. All the stuff that's stacked on it, the diet, Pilates, extra stuff with the body work now I'm doing. It's just those stuff probably start adding up. So it's probably accumulating to it. Is that the word?
Tevin, what's it been like for the offense on a short week preparing when it's not exactly clear who's starting at quarterback? What's that been like for you guys?
It's just back there, even with the O-line, we would do rotations, it's just getting used to who's back there and understanding what quarterback's cadence is coming into it. And I'm not sure. I think it was yesterday. They showed that clip where the quarterback was doing the cadence on the sideline. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's different quarterbacks, different situations. So you got to understand how he's going to deliver the plays, deliver the cadence and stuff like that. So it's been.
How big of a job?
So real quick, just to address the wide receiver. So Grumpy Bear, I think we're both right here. His first stint with the Packers, he was the offensive quality control coach under Mike McCarthy in 2014. And then in 2016, he got promoted to the wide receivers coach for a year. Then he left for Mississippi State, And then this his second stint with the Packers in 19, he was the quarterbacks coach with Matt LaFleur. So, yes, you are correct. I'm partially correct. So there you go. There's that.
Adjustment has been to move positions, and how have you been able to do it so well?
You know, I wouldn't say it's easy. I mean, a lot of people do in the league. I mean, just to be able to do it at a high level, that's the challenging part. And I just like to play freely. You know, that's the thing that's been stopping me really. It's been trying to think too much and stop trusting myself. You know, so once I got out of my own head, I started to play better.
That's the most honest I've heard Tevin Jenkins. The most honest I've heard him. He's just straight up telling you the truth. Look, in my own head, and we talked about, mentally, not necessarily like mental issues, like he's in need of some help, but he has, he had issues in his past that were drawing some red flags early in his career here with the Bears. Frustration for moving to guard, but from what you heard there, man, like he just seems like a young man who's embraced his role, who's ready to become, a great NFL player, and is moving forward with his life and his career. I just, you wish him all the best. Wish him all the best here in Chicago, of course, but wish him all the best in his life as well. I like the answer. I like to hear the honesty from Tevin Jenkins. Once he got his head right, everything started to come together, so I'm glad that happened.
Tevin, how would you describe the mood in the locker room?
I'd say we're still upbeat right now. We're still looking forward to this Thursday and trying to get this W for this week.
Is it strange you're kind of in a strange position this week where if you win, you actually help the team's draft positioning. What do you make of that?
I'm just trying to get to 3-7. That's all thing I'm worried about, sir.
Tim, can you describe?
What a dumb question. Like, why even entertain it? Like, the guys over there, oh yeah, oh, we're gonna lose? Oh, we're gonna win? Oh, heaven forbid we lose that fucking draft position. Of course he's not worried about that shit, dude. Like, that's the dumbest thing to ask. Asking a player in the NFL if they're worried about some dude who might not even make the fucking roster. You know what I mean? Might be a bust. Might be whatever. Tevin Jenkins answered that perfectly. It was a dumb-ass question. A waste of time.
Just the film you've seen.
Yeah, Burns, he's a great rusher. I mean, he's a good defensive guy. They got a couple good bodies up front still. 95, he's a pretty good dude up front. I mean, he can turn it on. He's a good rusher. And just being able to see how hard hitting those linebackers are as well, and how fast they can flow over the top. I mean, they're still good defense.
Tevin, can you describe what it's like to actually get a pancake block?
I mean, there's not many feelings out there in the world. You know, it's hard to describe it. Just being able to push somebody around and just put all your weight on top of them, just to, like, impose your will on them. I mean, that's the best words you can get close to it, but you can only do it and have that feeling when you do it.
What's it like in the film room the next day when you kind of see that show up and you guys you're talking about it?
It gets pretty rowdy in there. It's pretty funny. Everybody, it gets pretty funny in there, but you know, it feels good to see that, especially like a shout out in team meeting room or something, like, oh, look at this block by Tevin right here.
Honestly, this is a dumb question as well, but
it's a good feeling of gratification for us. So I mean, it's good that
it is what it is at this moment.
Football Focus said you was graded as the highest lineman in the NFL last year. Do you pay attention to that stuff? Do other people bring that to your attention, and what's your opinion of all?
It gets brought to my attention. I mean, I just try to coming here to build and be the same guy I am day in, day out, and I mean, I appreciate all the love that I'm getting, you know, from everybody, but I try to stay level headed and not get too big headed about anything.
Tim, when you talk about trying to play more freely, how much of that is just you being more comfortable at guard now that you're in the second year of kicking inside?
Yeah, that could be a huge part of it too. Yeah, it's only my second year playing guard, and you know, starting to get in the role of things is just a matter of time and comfortability.
When you talked about the the situation with Minnesota, with Dobbs coming in and learning the 5 cadences, like on the sideline. Like, have you ever been in a situation like that where you have a quarterback come in and the guy's never played with you before? And you're teaching him the cadence on the spot?
I don't think so. I don't think I have. I think I've been fortunate enough to not be put in that situation. But if it ever did come up, I know that's going to be something we get down really good because they do rotate quarterbacks during practice, so we get those reps, we get those things ahead of time.
Can you put into context just like how impressive that was, like just having probably either heard or seen about that, how that was?
No, that's actually pretty good. I mean, just to even call up the whole offense to just be like, this is what he's going to be on, because that's the whole start of the whole game. I mean, if you do that, if you don't do that, there's a lot of false starts, and you can't even get the playoff. I mean, you're 2nd and 1 in your crucial 2-minute drive, and then a new quarterback comes in, you don't even know what it's going to be on. So just stuff like that is going to be, like, it sets you apart.
Devin, if you got to flip back to the left when Nate comes back, what do you have to do to make sure that you continue on this kind of trajectory you're at?
Just keep on playing freely. I mean, for me, just not being in my head and just being able to be out there and just try to make it the most comfortable thing I can.
Do you feel like you could do that on either side? Do you feel free on both?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Tevin. Final.
All right, that was Tevin Jenkins, our final interview of the night. And honestly, I thought that was a great interview by Tevin. We've had some weird ones in the past, but we're just going to go ahead and bury those in the past. He looks grabby. He looks like he's putting on some muscle. He looks like he's confident, and he just looks like a guy who's just wants to go play football. And that's all like you could ask for from a man. And look at what he's done. The top rated offensive lineman, according to Pro Football Focus. Impressive to say the least. Tevin Jenkins, he's starting to become a mature young man, one hell of a football player. And I'm happy he's figuring it out, especially here with the Chicago Bears. All right, let's go ahead and answer some questions before we get into these previews and then wrap things up. Taylor Exchange, is there a future where we keep Justin Fields while holding the first overall pick via the Panthers? I think it's going to be a dog. Well, it won't be a dog fight, but it'll be a dog fight to the bottom. It'll be a bum fight to the bottom. How about that? Between the Panthers, us, the Cardinals, and a few other teams, the Giants. So it's a bum fight to the bottom with those 4 teams. It could be difficult for us to pull it off. The bigger question is how does Justin get there? Well, he's going to have to completely limit, and I mean, it's going to have to be limited to maybe 3 to 4 turnovers, and you're going to have to put up some big numbers in the passing game. And the way that things have been going, you see 2 games where it looks great with Justin Fields, and then you go away from it. Then you see a game where it looks great with Tyson Bagent, and you go away from it. Then you see a half where it looks great with Tyson Bagent, and you go away from it. So it's like I wanna believe Justin can do it, but I don't trust this coaching staff to put him in a position to succeed. And I just feel like Justin himself needs a fresh. I want him to be here, but I think he needs a fresh take on life when it comes to his career, whether that be somewhere else or maybe he goes ahead and does enough to stay here. There needs to be somebody else coaching him up. They just haven't done they haven't done right by him, and I don't think they're gonna truly help the development of a Tyson Bagent because I haven't seen them really develop a Justin Fields. I haven't seen them, some guys some of the development on offense is just not there. I don't know if Justin's going to be able to do enough to convince him. It's one of the things that go back and forth in my head every week is where do they go? Where is Justin going to end up? Is he going to be able to bounce back and prove in, 7 games or whatever that we have left, that he's able to, correct things in this off time, to correct enough in his game to be able to show them, hey, I deserve another look. I deserve another year. Build around me and we can move forward. It's gonna be an uphill battle. I'll say that. It'll be an uphill battle. Whether he does or not, I don't know. So yeah, uphill battle, very, very long shot that happens. Taylor, thanks for the question. Let's see. Daryl, I think you were talking about Tevin Jenkins. Do I move him over to left tackle just to see? No, I left guard, right guard. All right, if he's comfortable there, but then if you're going to start moving him all over the line, I mean, to a completely different position. And I know he's played it before, but right here, right now, I think your best bet is to continue to play Tevin Jenkins at guard, regardless if it's left or right, because I think he could just dominate on either side. Let's see. Oh, also, it was to Aaron and Bob. Don't think I won't remember this bet you guys have. All right, so somebody better be ready come 2024. Anyway, Steve, you have a question. Ivan, would you keep Tevin at right guard? Oh, well, yeah, keep Tevin at right guard and put Nate Davis when he's healthy. If he's comfortable at either, that's great. It depends on Nate. You know what I mean? And Nate seems more of like, I mean, he's the established vet. He's played there a lot more. I would like to see Nate at right and Tevin at left, just because it was working when Nate was there. You know what I mean? Like, it was, yeah, Tevin came in, he's doing a great job, but Tevin was doing a great job on the left side too. And Nate was starting to, find his feet here in Chicago. So for me, I would say I would leave it as such: Tevin on the left, Nate on the right, and we move forward from there. All right, let's get into these predictions and start wrapping things up. Jackal, if you're back there, come on out. We'll go ahead and get your opinion on this as well. Bears Panthers Thursday Night Football. I want the win. I don't give a shit about any type of positioning. I want the win. This is a beatable team. You're a beatable team as well, but I feel like you have more talent than they do. So you should beat them.
Absolutely.
Unless you go ahead and, of course, shoot yourself in the foot, which is very, very possible.
Bears football.
This should be a win for the Chicago Bears,
regardless
of who's at quarterback. So, looking at, a quick glance, because both teams are garbage. I think we're sitting at 2-3 with our draft picks. 2 being
as we stand today, yes.
Right.
Yep.
2 being the Panthers, 3 being the Bears. The Arizona Cardinals are number 1 overall as of right now. You gotta be able to beat the bad teams at a certain point, right? And granted, we are
even if you are one.
Yeah, even if we are a bad team, you gotta be able to get over the hump when it comes to beating these bad teams. Because I felt like you should have beaten quite a few teams here. I think they should have had at least 2 or 3 more wins on the schedule due to their opponents, right? I thought they should have beat the Vikings, should have beat the Broncos.
Yeah.
Who else might think? The Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
The Raiders. So, it's hard to say that they're going to go blow them out, but I think they're going to handle them enough to where at the end of the game they can coast. At the end of the game, they can, with 5 minutes left, you're not really worried. The game is, pretty much wrapped up. I think they finally, have a breakout game on the defensive line. I think they get to Bryce Young. I think Montez Sweat has a breakout game. Has his
first sack.
Chicago game. Yeah, he has his first sack. I'll say he gets his first 2 sacks.
Ooh.
Come this weekend.
I would love to see that.
Come this Thursday against the Panthers. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'll see the Bears. Bears 27, Panthers 17.
Question. I like your prediction, but I want to ask who's the quarterback for the Bears on Thursday?
I think it'll be Tyson again.
Really?
Yeah, you're gonna have a break here coming up. If Justin, we want to make sure he doesn't re-aggravate it. We want to make sure he's not, he could grip the ball so there's no turnovers. But if you have an opportunity to play it cautious, I think that's what the Bears are going to do instead of rushing it, re-aggravating it, or whatever may happen, and then you're out another week with Justin or what have you. So I think they're definitely going to play it cautious, and if he can't go come tomorrow, tomorrow you'll know.
You'll have to know,
100%.
right?
Yeah, tomorrow you'll know 100%. So if he can't do anything by tomorrow, it'll be the Tyson Bagent show once more, which is fine. You know what I'm saying? Like the kid still needs development, right?
Live reps help.
Live reps help. So regardless of what the controversy is, he needs to be out there to get live reps in order to learn from his mistakes as well as a young player. So if Justin was, if they're talking about, he's slinging the ball, he looks great, he feels great, I would feel more inclined to say Justin. But right now it just seems like he's just trying to force it a little bit. Like he's getting better. I believe it is progressing, but it's just not there right now. So like I said, Bears 27, Panthers 17 is my prediction. We got some first, Jacko? What's your prediction?
It's funny. I see Grumpy Bear talking 31-13. It doesn't matter who's the quarterback, and I kind of like that. I'm thinking 28-18. Bears do pull off the victory. I think they both play. How about that? I think they make the dumb decision to start Fields, and he doesn't have it. He's in still something's going on, and they bring Bagent in, and he's gonna map this up on a
the most dramatic way.
It's Thursday night football. It's been shit football pretty much. It's just and if you're not a Bears fan or a Panthers fan, do you even want to watch this game? So to that point, I'm hoping that there's some theatrics, but either way, I'm hoping the Bears can pull out a dub. I like a 31-18. I'm sorry, a 28-18 game for the Bears.
All right, 21-18. That's a little closer.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's okay because
I like your Montez Sweat with 2 sacks, by the way. I do really like that. I might actually go on FanDuel and put that in. I like that.
I think I will too. I just see him. Last game he didn't record one, but he was close. He was close. There was a couple plays where he reached out and just missed, but I think Montez is gonna start to feel more comfortable as the season progresses. Hopefully I'm right, and this Thursday he really puts it on the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, it'll be interesting though. It's funny, and like Mopic 31-2 says here, don't be surprised if the Panthers come out and put a hurting on them. They came out and they beat up the Panthers, or they beat up the Texans 2 weeks ago, and that kicking thriller. But they don't have the offense. They have no ponies in the stables. Thielen is great for fantasy football, but when it comes to winning football games, you ain't winning shit. I think the Bears, sad to say, they got a better team at this moment in time. And with the way Tevin Jenkins and Darnell Wright are playing, maybe you get, you see some good things again out there this weekend or Thursday night. I'd love to see it. Be happy.
Yeah,
we need that in our lives as Bears fans. There's too much vitriol and negativity if you go on social media these days. It's fucking insane.
Yeah, I want to be happy. It's just hard. That jailbreak, right? Like pretty jaded. Yeah, I think that's the best way to describe it. Jaded. I mentioned early in the show, Phil was kind of the same way. He had a jaded approach to the start of the rant, and I was like, I can't blame him. Like it's shit. It's terrible. it's the same thing, and eventually, like we were talking about, or I think it was Daryl Davis who had mentioned it, you got to start emptying the seats. You got to start emptying the seats. Like, it can't be, you can't have this, what was I call it? The Men in Black. You can't have like that memory eraser as soon as the draft comes by because we got some new toys. If they don't make any decisions, if they don't make any moves to the coaching staff and how this team operates, none of that shit is going to matter.
Yeah.
So, I hope there's hope, like the saying goes here on Tape Never Lies. But at the end of the day, like I'm looking at the reality of it, and it just doesn't look good. Where's our direction? Where do we go from here? I can't say it. You can't say it. And it just seems like anybody that you ask around town kind of gives you that same blank kind of expression. Like, I don't fucking know, man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't know about the quarterback. I don't know about the coaching staff. I don't know about the new president. There's so many questions that still surround this team. It just exhausts you. It just, it caves your chest, and it just such a weight on you.
Suffocating,
as a fan. You just you hope for the best, but you kind of know what's going to happen. Also, go Cubs, Daryl. How about that? Hey, Brewers' tears taste like spotted cow. All right, Brewers' tears taste like New Glarus beer. That's how that's what I could say to that. All right, Corn. Well, how you like them apples, huh? I'm here. I'm here for it. I will be at the first.
You don't feel bad for Ross at all?
Do I feel bad for David Ross? A little bit. Did
you see that comment by Contreras on social media? He said there was a thing about Ross being fired, and he commented down. It said about time. And I think they played together. I think in like 2016 or 17. I read somewhere, and I don't know. It was just kind of interesting, Catcher. It was
won the World Series together.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I never.
Interesting perspective, but this isn't a baseball show, but
I didn't know there was a beef there.
Me neither. I just read that. I read that this afternoon.
But I'll be drinking Spotted Cow. The tears of Brewers fans. No, all right, enough of that. All right, enough of that. Guys, thank you for joining us for another great show here on another Bear Show. I've had a blast. Jackal, of course, love always seeing you.
Of course.
I know you got the kids, you got the kiddos running around, and you still
fucking 8:30 over here. The hour difference is a motherfucker, man. Let me tell you.
You still come out though. You still help out. You still come.
Man, I try to get here for 8:30.
So I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody in the chat. We'll keep doing this. Like I was telling the guys before. Like I'm looking forward to having, adding some segments. Since we have this extended time, although, rest in peace to Keeping It Fantasy. It is what it is, I guess, but we're going to continue to build this.
Keep people happy.
Yeah, we're going to keep people happy. We're going to continue to build this, and hopefully this show fares better than shit. I know I keep breaking shit tonight. Hopefully this show fares better than Keeping It 100 or Keeping It Fantasy, but nonetheless, you still get me and Jacko on Tuesdays.
That's right, baby.
It's what you want. Gruesome Twosome Tuesdays.
The faces mothers can love.
Anyway, guys, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the Tape Never Lies Network. Go to the www.thetapeneverlies.com. Become a patron. The pop-up shows, the tape breakdown, all the the nonstop information that we keep posting up on there about the Chicago Bears. Do it. It's only $7. The best $7 you can invest. And to be honest with you, I'm looking forward to tomorrow night. I'll be at work, but I know there's going to be some more Bears talk.
Be a great
Keep
show.
It at 100. There's going to be even more Bears talk on Thursday. We got with Cars Keys, and of course, I'm sorry, Cars Keys won't be on. I'm sorry, totally blank. It will not be Cars Keys. It'll be BHL on Thursday night with Phil and Shane talking about the Chicago Bears post game. And don't forget, if you are a patron, you'll get that halftime show. So like I said, think about it. Just think about it. Anyway, I'm Ivan Vargas. That's Christopher Jackal. You've been watching another Bear Show on the Tape Never Lies Network.
Peace.